And nobody wants to be conspiracy guy. Right? That guy at home in his mother's basement thinks it's an Armageddon shelter. 9/11 wasn't an inside job. What about the other tower, World Trade Tower number 7? It fell down, it wasn't even hit by a plane. How did it fall down if it wasn't hit by a plane? But it wasn't just the towers, it was the boat too. They sunk the Titanic. JP Morgan got off the boat on the 11th hour. It wasn't the Titanic, it was the sister ship, the Olympic. They switched the boats. And you can see the letters on YouTube. MP. They're not in Titanic. They killed Leonardo DiCaprio. It was the greatest switch of all time. Except for when they switched Paul McCartney with the fake Paul McCartney, Fall McCartney. Because the real Paul McCartney died in a car crash in 1966. They even sang about it. He blew his mind out in a car. He didn't notice that the lights had changed. They had to kill John and George. But they didn't bother with Ringo. Nobody'd believe him. But they also kill Michael Jackson. They killed Michael Jackson, the king of pop, just because he wanted to make the world a better place. For you and for me. You and for me. And not just the king of pop, they killed Prince too, because he talked about chemtrails, live on television, sodium, barium, strontium, aluminium dropping from clouds, from planes on top of people, keeping them stupid and dumb. And we know it's real because before chemtrails, there was no X Factor. And the only way to protect yourself was with tinfoil hats. But tinfoil hats, they're made from aluminium. How can you protect yourself from aluminium with aluminium? The Americans call it aluminum. Illuminati hats. Now I know the real meaning of purple rain. But don't let it get you down, because every cloud has a silver lining. Aluminium lining. Sneaky governments with their sneaky agreements like TTIP, or their sneaky operations like Operation Paperclip, where they took 1,500 Nazis after the war, they brought them over to America to work for the American government, and they called it Operation Paperclip, because if you think about it, that's kind of like a folded up swastika. Operation Northwood, where they were going to blow up a bus of American people and blame it on the Cubans so they could start a war, a false flag. But if you think about it, there's a lot of false flags. Yeah, like the one on the moon. Yeah, right, we could land on a reptilian spaceship. But not everybody knows what's going on because their brains are rotten from Diet Coke. Aspartame and Diet Coke, approved by the FDA. FDA, fucking dumb asses. Donkeys. Jesus rode into town on a donkey, and then the bankers definitely killed him. Anyway, nobody wants to be conspiracy guy.
What are you eating?
An epiphany continuum.
What?
An epiphany continuum for the supermarket.
What's that?
I don't know, like pasta or something. No, it's no pasta. I don't know what it is.
An epiphany continuum?
Aye.
What kind of name's that for a ready meal? Is the box still in the kitchen?
Aye.
Don't eat that. So a date?
It'll be fine.
Mate, best before the year of our Lord, 1655.
Smells alright.
I don't know, man. I don't like the look of this packaging either.
Callum, I'm no binning it. It's £2.
Right, look at the ingredients here, right? Primal matter, asp tongue mould, mandrake, the breath of God. That's all additives, mate.
Callum, I'm eating my epiphany continuum, alright? You'll know my ma.
Mate. You fainted, man. Right after you ate that. You alright?
We're doomed. It's over. I saw things. Terrible things.
I saw civilizations collapse. Every living soul driven insane. The world on fire. Cities devastated. Piles of bodies everywhere. Flesh pits burning in the moonlight. I saw the sun die. Stars turning on themselves. The universe fracture into a nothingness. And a malignant sentience behind it all. Watching. Waiting.
What?
You know what the worst it is?
What?
I'm still fucking starving.
So, as you know, we've just discovered that there are aliens because of that spaceship with aliens in that crashed, and they've got super advanced technology, and it's all massively frightening.
So, what's the plan?
Well, keep it all a complete secret from everybody if at all possible.
Yes, of course. Although, why?
Well, if everybody knew that there were aliens, they might try and help us research or defend against them.
Why don't we want that?
Just general sort of, well, it's nice to have secrets, isn't it?
Plus, the government is very keen that nobody should blame them for there being aliens.
People do that?
Well, they will when the aliens invade and they find out that we've known all along and could have been enlisting support all over the world in an effort to defend against them. There'll be hell to pay then, so...
Yeah, cross that bridge when we come to it. In the meantime, let's keep the existence of aliens, which is in no way our fault, or, at this point, exclusively our problem, a complete secret.
How?
Well, we did catch a break there, actually. Fortunately, the aliens landed somewhere very remote, which is also a well-known top-secret army base.
Thank God for that. So we can hide away the dead aliens in that facility. We can also do an autopsy on them there and not tell anyone the results.
Yes, and just to make sure that nobody ever finds out, we should film it.
Agreed.
Is there any other way that people can find out? I mean, between now and the alien invasion for which we'll leave the world unprepared?
Well, they do keep abducting people for weird sex.
Oh dear. Well, the compelling nature of the evidence those people are going to come back to Earth with is something we can do nothing about.
Yes, well, we'll just have to pray that by good fortune there continue to be no independent witnesses.
The other problem is that quite a few excellent black and white photographers have pictures of what can pretty much only be spaceships.
I hate to be a skeptic, but why are we doing any of this?
Well, it doesn't really make sense, does it? But it's just the sort of thing that generally governments do. Wouldn't it be great to make everyone think we'd landed on the moon? That'd show the Soviets.
What would it show them?
Well, they'd think we'd landed on the moon and they'd be all afraid. Do this right and the Cold War could be over by 1971.
Why don't we just release the footage of the Mars landings?
No, it's vitally important that we keep the successful mission to Mars a secret. But I've got a hunch that if we pretend to have landed on the moon, that will be in some way intimidating.
Will people believe us?
Oh, I'm sure they will, to the extent that we won't even need to bother to pay much attention to detail with regard to flags and shadows and so on. Dart, you're the top spy in the Secret Service when it comes to misleading footage. What do you suggest?
Well, to start with, of course, we'll need to build a massive rocket.
Why? We're not actually going to the moon. Sorry, I thought that was the point. Have I got this wrong?
We'll need a massive rocket because the first question people will ask when we show them the footage of the moon will be, how did you get there? So we'll have to be able to say, we went in that massive rocket you saw.
So we're not actually going to make any kind of saving in terms of the cost of a massive rocket?
No, but we will be making a saving on the cost of actually going to the moon.
True. And what costs are involved in actually going to the moon?
Well, the main one, to be honest, is the massive rocket.
Any others?
Well, other than that, it's mainly catering.
So we'll make a saving on that?
Well, no. In fact, it'll probably be more expensive to cater for an entire film crew for the duration of a shoot than it would be to feed 3 astronauts.
So, I'm just wondering, we'll still have to build the massive rocket capable of going to the moon?
We will have to do that, yes.
So I was just thinking, if we've built the moon rocket, might it not be cheaper to just pop to the moon and fake the footage there?
Fake the footage of the fake moon landing on the moon? What if people found out?
That's a risk we're just going to have to take.
We are living in the age of the moron. People believe anything, but trust nothing. So weird about modern thinking. Like, everything's up for grabs. Everything is like, anything's true, but also nothing's real. The conspiracy theory has become the new politics. I mean, 10 years ago, the theory that men never landed on the moon, that was a tiny minority bit of wank that was. Now, it's out there. It's a genuine mainstream belief. Men never landed on the moon. Thousands of internet sites prove it. The same generation that believe in star signs and the healing power of crystals refuse to believe that men walked on the moon. It's extraordinary. Say, yeah, you're naive if you believe that, Ben. No, they've never done it. That was a CIA plot, that, yeah. That was a plot to impress the Russians. Oh, do fuck off! If the Americans had wanted to impress the Russians, they'd have landed on the sun, wouldn't they? They'd have invaded the universe. They'd have said Star Trek's a documentary. People say, no, you're the naive one, but it never happened. But the depressing thing about all these conspiracy theories is that people only choose to disbelieve shit they can't actually see. Like, for instance, I find it extraordinary and truly mind-boggling that you can fly EasyJet for a piss up in Prague for 15 fucking quid, but nobody's doubting it's true, are they? Nobody's sat on the jet going, this isn't happening, it really isn't. No. The CIA are running past the windows with cardboard clouds. That's what's going on. They're exchanging their bullshit paranoid technology on theories on technology that ought to beggar their imagination. People can send photos to each other's mobile phones and they doubt that men landed on the fucking moon. Why don't they doubt that? That's Harry Potter. Wow, there's a photo on my fucking phone 10 years ago. You'd have shat yourself if that happened. 5 years ago. Now you're just doing it. Nobody's saying, oh no, the CIA creep up behind you when your phone rings and blue tack a photo to the front of your phone.